The Senate will please come to order. I would ask that all members please take their seats and that the guests please clear the aisles. The clerk will unlock the machine for the purpose of recording attendance. Have all senators indicated their attendance? The clerk will lock the machine. There are 33 members in attendance. There is a quorum. At this time, I would ask for all members and the guests to please rise for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, to be led today by Senator Hannah M. Gallo, representing the city of Cranston and the town of West Warwick.
Almighty God, bless those who serve in the Senate. Inspire us with your truth, surround us with your love, and fill us with your grace. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is the reading of the previous day's journal. Will the clerk please read?
State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantation.
Madam President,
Senator Gallo.
I move that further reading of the journal be dispensed with and the journal be accepted as printed.
There being no objection, so ordered. The next order of business is the introduction of guests. Are there any guests present at this time? The next order of business is committee reports and communications. There are a number of communications. From Senator Elizabeth A. Crowley, please be advised and let the record reflect that due to illness I will be absent from the chamber on Wednesday, January 11th, 2017. From Senator James E. Doyle, please be advised that I will be unable to attend Senate session on Wednesday, January 11th, as I am out of state on business. From Senator Gail Golden, please be advised and let the record reflect that I will be absent from the chamber on Wednesday, January 11th, and out of town on Tuesday, and had flight delays today. Senator Donna M. Nesselbush, please be advised and let the record reflect that I will be absent from the chamber Wednesday, January 11th, 2017, as I will be out of town. The following communication from myself, pursuant to Section 5.1 of the Interim Senate Rules, I am making the following appointments to the Senate standing committees. I would ask the reading clerk to please read.
To the Honorable the Senate, pursuant to Section 5.1 of the Interim Senate Rules, I am making the following appointments to the Senate standing committees. To the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Michael J. McCaffrey, Chairperson, Paul V. Jabor, Vice Chairperson, Erin Lynch Prada, Secretary, Stephen R. Archambault, William J. Connolly, Jr., Cynthia A. Coyne, Mark W. G., Frank S. Lombardi, Harold M. Metz, Donna M. Nesselbush, and Leonidas P. Raptakis. To the Senate Committee on Finance, Daniel DaPonte, Chairperson, Louis V. P. DePalma, First Vice Chairperson, Walter S. Felag, Jr., Second Vice Chairperson, Ryan W. Pearson, Secretary, James E. Doyle, Mary Ellen Goodwin, Nicholas D. Kettle, James A. Savini, V. Susan Sosnowski. To the Senate Committee on Commerce, Roger A. Picard, Chairperson, Mark A. Cody, Vice Chairperson, Hannah M. Gallo, Secretary, Frank A. Chacon III, Paul W. Fogarty, Frank Lombardo III, Elaine J. Morgan, and Anna B. Casada. To the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services, Joshua B. Miller, Chairperson, Gail L. Golden, Vice Chairperson, James C. Sheehan, Secretary, Janine Calkin, Elizabeth A. Crowley, Thomas Paolino, Adam J. Satchel, and V. Susan Sosnowski. To the Senate Committee on Special Legislation and Veterans Affairs, Walter S. Felag, Jr., Chairperson, Erin Lynch Prada, Vice Chairperson, Leonidas P. Raptakis, Secretary, Mark A. Cody, Paul V. Jabor, Elaine J. Morgan, James A. Seveny. To the Senate Committee on Housing and Municipal Government, Frank H. Cohen, Chairperson, Elizabeth A. Crowley, Vice Chairperson, Donna M. Nesselbush, Secretary, Mary Ellen Goodwin, Michael J. McCaffrey, Thomas Paolino, and Roger A. Picard. To the Senate Committee on Environment and Agriculture, V. Susan Sosnowski, Chairperson, William J. Connolly, Jr., Vice Chairperson, Cynthia A. Coyne, Secretary, Stephen R. Archambault, Janine Calkin, Nicholas D. Kettle, and Joshua Miller. To the Senate Committee on Education, Hannah M. Gallo, Chairperson, Harold M. Metz, Vice Chairperson, Adam J. Satchel, Secretary, Louis P. DePalma, Thomas Paolino, Ryan Pearson, Anna B. Casada, James A. Seveny, and James C. Sheehan. To the Senate Committee on Labor, Paul W. Fogarty, Chairperson, Frank Lombardo III, Vice Chairperson, Frank S. Lombardi, Secretary, Frank H. Chacon III, James E. Doyle II, Mark W. G., Gail L. Golden, Mary Ellen Goodwin, and Michael J. McCaffrey. And to the Senate Committee on Rules, Erin Lynch Prada, Chairperson, Stephen R. Archambault, Vice Chairperson, Frank S. Lombardi, Secretary, Daniel DaPonte, Mary Ellen Goodwin, Paul V. Jabor, Nicholas D. Kettle, Frank Lombardo III, and Michael J. McCaffrey. Sincerely, M. Teresa Paiva Weed, President of the Senate.
The next piece of correspondence is from myself, pursuant to Rules 12 of the Rules of the Senate Democratic Caucus, making the following appointments for the year 2017 and 2018. Please, would the reading clerk please read?
To the Honorable Senate, pursuant to Rule 12 of the Rules of the Senate Democratic Caucus, I am making the following appointments for the years 2017 and 2018. Senator James E. Doyle, Senior Deputy Majority Leader. Senator Frank S. Lombardi, Deputy Majority Leader. Senator Donna M. Nesselbush, Deputy Majority Leader. Sincerely, M. Teresa Paiva Weed, President of the Senate.
Are there any further communications? The next order of business is new business. Senator Ruggiero requests immediate consideration of a resolution thanking and honoring the Providence firefighters. There being no objection, Senator Ruggiero, Leader Ruggiero.
Thank you, Madam President. Can the resolution be read, please?
Leader Ruggiero requests the resolution be read.
Senate resolution thanking and honoring Providence firefighters, Fire Lieutenant Thomas Jeremiah, Corey Schwinnard, Sonny Gloria, and John Wheeler Jr., Rescue Captain David Palumbo, and Rescue Technicians John Tierney, Brian Mello, and Edward Silvestri for saving the life of an infant. Whereas on Wednesday morning, August 17, 2016, Providence firefighters from Engine 12 and Rescue 4 rushed to respond to a call from a home on Crandall Street with a report of a child not being able to breathe. According to Acton Battalion Chief Stephen Capricata, a 7-month-old infant girl nearly drowned in a bathtub and was unresponsive. And whereas the arriving firefighters and rescue crew immediately began resuscitation efforts while simultaneously leading her into an infant rescue transport. They removed a lot of water from the infant's lungs and gave her an intravenous injection as they rushed her to Hasbro Children's Hospital, but the infant was still unresponsive. However, just as one of the firefighters was rushing towards the emergency doors with the baby cradled in his arms, the baby started crying, and he saw that she was breathing. And whereas, thanks to the hard work and dedicated professionalism of Fire Lieutenant Thomas Jeremiah, Firefighter Corey Schwinnard, Firefighter Sonny Gloria, Firefighter John Wheeler Jr., Rescue Captain David Palumbo, and Rescue Technicians John Tierney, Brian Mello, and Ed Silvestri, an infant girl's life was saved. Perhaps Firefighter John Wheeler Jr. summed it up best, stating that saving the child's life was the best feeling ever. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Senate of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations hereby thanks and congratulates Fire Lieutenant Thomas Jeremiah, Firefighters Corey Schwinnard, Sonny Gloria, and John Wheeler Jr., Rescue Captain David Palumbo, and Rescue Technicians John Tierney, Brian Mello, and Edward Silvestri for their heroic efforts on the morning of August 17, 2016, when they saved the life of a 7-month-old infant. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be, and she's hereby authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to Fire Lieutenant Thomas Jeremiah, Firefighters Corey Schwinnard, Sonny Gloria, and John Wheeler Jr., Rescue Captain David Palumbo, and Rescue Technicians John Tierney, Brian Mello, and Edward Silvestri.
Leader Ruggiero moves passage, seconded by Senator Goodwin, Leader Algier, Senator DaPonte, Senator Gallo, Senator Lynch Prada, Senator Sosnowski, Senator Casada, Senator Pearson, Senator Picard, Senator Metz, Senator Fogarty, Senator Lombardi, Senator Jabor, Senator Miller, Senator Felag, Senator McCaffrey, Senator Archambault, Senator Lombardo, Senator Conley, Senator Calkin, Senator Coyne, Senator Seveny, Senator DePalma, Senator Chacon, Senator Sheehan, Senator Reptakis, Senator Paolino, Senator Morgan, Senator G., and Senator Kettle. Is there any discussion? Leader Ruggiero.
Thank you, Madam President and members of the Senate. It's no secret that we from Providence are immensely proud of our firefighters the service they provide, and also our rescue workers for what they do each and every day for the citizens of the city of Providence. I'd like to take this opportunity not only to commend them and congratulate them, but introduce them to this body. First, I'd like to introduce Fire Lieutenant Thomas Jeremiah, Firefighter Corey Schwinnard, Firefighter Sonny Gloria, Firefighter John Wheeler Jr., Rescue Captain David Palumbo, Rescue Technician John Tierney, Rescue Technician Brian Mello, and Rescue Technician Edward Silvestri. I want to thank these gentlemen for the service that they provided, especially on the day that was enumerated upon in the proclamation, and please join me in giving them a warm welcome in this chamber.
Wanted to join in with comments and echoing Senator Ruggiero's comments. As a firefighter in Westerly, I can attest to the hard work firefighters go through, training, practice, but more importantly, when an alarm goes off or a call comes in, they have no idea what they're going to be facing, and they put their lives on the line each day, especially in the city of Providence. And certainly, I appreciate the hard work that goes into your daily routine, and the lives that you save each day, and the amount of stress and the hard work that goes into practicing and training for your duties, and I certainly appreciate that. My hat's off to you, gentlemen and ladies of the Providence Fire Department, and keep up the great work.
Item number 2, Senator Goodwin requests immediate consideration of a Senate resolution honoring Providence Fire Lieutenant Robert McCullough for his selfless and heroic attempt to save a person from a burning building. Whip Goodwin.
Thank you, Madam President. Without objection, may the resolution be read.
Would the clerk please read?
Senate resolution honoring Providence Fire Lieutenant Robert McCullough for his selfless and heroic attempt to save a person from a burning building. Whereas Providence Fire Lieutenant Robert McCullough was off duty, working his second job as a AAA tow truck driver, when, while driving along Hawkins Street, he saw smoke coming from a 2-story building. He immediately pulled over, and from the 2 men standing on the sidewalk nearby, learned that someone was still inside the burning house. And whereas for the first time in his 29 years as a firefighter, Lieutenant McCullough entered a burning building without any safety equipment and went looking for the individual. The smoke was so thick that he couldn't see the person even though he could hear him. He finally reached the victim and was able to drag him to the sidewalk. And whereas Lieutenant McCullough entered the dwelling in the midst of a 2-alarm fire without any protective gear, air pack, or any backup, and risked his life trying to save the life of another person. Lieutenant McCullough's heroic actions in attempting to save a man trapped in a burning building and suffering some severe burns were laudable. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Senator of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations hereby thanks and honors Providence Fire Lieutenant Robert McCullough for his heroic actions when, at great risk to himself, he entered a burning building alone and pulled the person to the sidewalk. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and she is hereby authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Providence Fire Lieutenant Robert McCullough.
Whip Goodwin.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the Senate. I'd like to join first with Leader Ruggiero and thanking all of the firefighters that have joined us here today. I want you all to know that the citizens of Providence rest a little easy every night and every day, knowing that the brave men and women of the fire department in Providence are there for us regardless. And I know that you all put aside your own personal safety without hesitation. You really are remarkable everyday heroes in our midst. Madam President, with that being said, it's really an honor for me to introduce a local hero today, Lieutenant McCullough, who, as the resolution just stated, without any thought to his own safety, rushed in without any equipment on that day, in December 29th, to a home on Hawkins Street, in an area that I represent, to attempt to rescue a victim there. I really don't think that I can add anything else except to just say thank you, Lieutenant, for your bravery. So thank you, and let me just take this moment to introduce the Lieutenant. Welcome to the Senate today, Lieutenant McAuliffe. Thank you, Madam President. In addition to the Lieutenant, there are some guests joining him.
Can we first move passage of the resolution?
Certainly. I'll move passage, Madam President.
Whip Goodwin moves passage. Second by Senator Metz, Senator Fogarty, Senator Lombardi, Senator Jabour, Senator Miller, Senator Felag, Senator McCaffrey, Senator Ruggiero, Senator Gallo, Senator Lynch-Prada, Senator Sosnowski, Senator Pearson, Senator Casada, Senator Picard, Senator Calkins, Senator Coyne, Senator Seveny, Senator Palma, Senator Chacon, Senator Sheehan, Senator Raptakis, Senator Conley, Senator Lombardo, Senator Archambault, Senator Morgan, Senator G, Senator Kettle, and Senator Algier. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The resolution passes. Senator Goodwin for introductions, and then Senator Metz for discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. Joining Lieutenant today beside him is the Vice President of the Firefighters, Local 799, no stranger to any of us here, our friend Derek Silva. Welcome to you, Derek. And joining the Lieutenant is his mom, Dorothy McAuliffe, his wife, Robin, his two sons, Kyle and Jacob, and his uncle, Peter Montanaro. Welcome to you all. If you all stand to be recognized.
Senator Metz.
Thank you, Madam Chairman and members of the Senate. I too want to welcome our guests and certainly the firefighters. And I was telling the rescue there, my cousin is a retired captain of the rescue, Edward Woodard Jr. And I was over his house 2 weeks ago, and he says, when, because his wife, that's my wife's first cousin, when are you going to honor the firemen? So, leader, thank you very much, because now I can go over my cousin's house in peace. But congratulations, congratulations, and God bless you. We really appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Senator Casada.
I just wanted to say thank you for your service. Thank you for the great job you do every single day, putting your life in danger for others. Thank you so much.
Leader Ruggiero.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome, as Senator Goodwin did, the McCullough family and say hello to my good friend, Dottie McCullough, who I've known for many years. And I'm sure she's a very proud mother at this stage of the game. And I also want to recognize the presence of Derek Silva here, who's always done a great job for the firefighters. Thank you very much.
Thank you on behalf of the entire Senate. Senator Miller requests immediate consideration of an act relating to solemnization of marriage. Senator Miller moves passage. Seconded by Senator McCaffrey, Senator Jabour, Senator Goodwin. Is there any discussion? There being none, will the clerk please unlock the machine? Shall an act relating to the solemnization of marriage pass? Have all senators indicated their vote? Will the clerk please lock the machine? 32 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and an act relating to solemnization of marriage passes. Senator Sheehan requests immediate consideration of a Senate resolution expressing condolences on the passing of the Honorable Kenneth Carter. There being no objection, Senator Sheehan requests the resolution be read.
Senate resolution expressing condolences on the passing of the Honorable Kenneth Carter. Whereas it is with profound sadness and regret that this Senate has learned of the passing of the Honorable Kenneth Carter, a well-respected former member of the Rhode Island House of Representatives and a longtime resident of North Kingstown. And whereas Kenneth Carter was the beloved husband of Sylvia Clark Carter, the cherished father of 4 sons, Kenneth, Michael, Mitchell, and Matthew, and the very proud grandfather of 9 grandchildren. He was born in Scottsboro, Alabama on September 9th of 1933 and was the son of the late John and Bessie Carter and the brother of the late J.B., Ray, and Ralph Carter. He was a graduate and had served as class president at Jackson County High School. And whereas Ken was a loyal and hardworking gentleman, he served his country with courage and valor in the United States Navy and was a respected businessman and the former owner of Schiller's and several other restaurants in Narragansett for many years, and Carter's 19th Hole restaurant for 30 years. And whereas in November of 1992, Representative Carter was elected to serve the people of North Kingstown and Exeter in District 31 in the Rhode Island General Assembly. He diligently served his constituency for 9 years, earning the unqualified admiration and trust of his peers. Ken was the chair in the House, on the House Committee on Veterans Affairs and also served as the vice chair of the House Committee on Finance. He was chair of the Subcommittee on Public Safety and is a member of the Subcommittee on Human Services. In addition, Ken served as a delegate at the Rhode Island Constitutional Convention in 1986 and was a member of the North Kingstown Democratic Town Committee. And whereas Ken was actively involved in community affairs as a member of the Crime Lab Commission, the Board of Governors for Higher Education, the Selective Service Commission, the North Kingstown Fraternal Order of Police, and the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association. And whereas, in addition, Ken was a member of numerous organizations that contribute their time and efforts to making Rhode Island a better place to live, including the Elks, the Freemasons, Washington Lodge No. 5, and the Rhode Island Shriners, where he performed as a clown and jester to the delight of many children and adults alike. He was also a big supporter of local youth sports, especially at the high school and Little League levels, and was the former president of Pop Warner Football, where he successfully brought home 2 state Pop Warner football championships to the town of North Kingstown. And whereas our thoughts and hearts hold great empathy and sorrow for the Carter family, he was a truly kind and generous gentleman who enriched the lives of all who knew him, and he will be dearly missed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Senate of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations hereby expresses its deepest sympathies on the passing of the Honorable Kenneth Carter. He will forever be remembered by this Senate for his magnanimous spirit and omnipresent good humor, for his deep commitment and abiding dedication to the citizens of Rhode Island. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and she is hereby authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to Mrs. Sylvia Carter and family.
Senator Sheehan.
Thank you, Madam President. It was last Saturday that we lost a dear friend, Kenny Carter, who simply referred to himself as Carter. You called him on the phone. Kenny was a great guy with a dry wit and a kind Southern charm about him. But make no mistake, if there was something he could do for his community, his constituents, he was driven to make that difference, and he did often. I got to know Kenny when I first ran here for the state Senate. He was generous to me with his time and advice and took me under his wing. At one point, he even loaned me one of his golf carts from the 19th hole to canvass neighborhoods, making it easier. Madam President, this is a very sad day. Kenny will be sorely missed. Sadder yet, the realization has sunk in with me and many in my community that Kenny was one of 4 pillars in our community. We have mourned each one of those pillars in their passing. One was Representative Sue Hensler, a giant up here, amongst others. Sitting in his seat currently, Senator Mike Lenahan. More recently, our Representative Mel Benson, and now Representative Ken Carter. All were great public servants in our community, and seemingly they are now from a bygone era. And I count myself lucky to have called each one my friend. Thank you. With that, I move passage.
Senator Sheehan moves passage, seconded by Senator Ruggiero, Senator Goodwin, Senator DaPonte, Senator Felag, Senator McCaffrey, Senator Miller, Senator Gallo, Senator Lynch-Prada, Senator Jabor, Senator Lombardi, Senator Fogarty, Senator Metz, Senator Picard, Senator Pearson, Senator Sosnowski, Senator Algier, Senator Kettle, Senator G, Senator Morgan, Senator Paolino, Senator Reptakis, Senator Conley, Senator Lombardo, Senator Archibald, Senator Calkin, Senator Coyne, Senator Seveny, Senator DePalma, Senator Chacon. Is there any discussion? Senator Felag.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I, too, rise with a heavy heart on the passing of Kenneth Carter. Ken Carter and I met each other when I was first elected here in 1998 when we were members of the Joint Committee on Veterans Affairs. And not only was he a diligent worker, as Senator Sheehan pointed out, for his community, but when it came to veterans issues, there was no one who worked harder or worked more closely with the Senate and everyone involved to get those pieces of legislation passed. Whether it be free laundry service for the veterans at the veterans home or making sure that the veterans had their own division within government, Ken was a fighter. He fought for veterans issues. He was there every time a veterans occasion warranted his presence. He spoke eloquently on behalf of the veterans, and he will be surely missed not only by his community, but by all those veterans within the state of Rhode Island. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Is there any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please rise. The resolution passes. That concludes the new business for the day. At this time, we will revert to announcements and introductions. Are there any announcements and/or introductions? Senator Jabbour.
Thank you, Madam President. An announcement, please.
Please proceed.
Judiciary will meet at the Rise. That'll be Tuesday, January 17th at 5 p.m., room 313.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Miller.
Yes, an announcement.
Please proceed.
A reminder for two events that will be happening this week on behalf of legislators that they're invited to. The Rhode Island Association of Nurse Anesthetists have their annual legislative reception tonight at 5 o'clock at Marriott and Orm Street, and also tomorrow at 5 o'clock at Fat Bellies on Canal Street will be an informational gathering with members of the legislature and advocates for tax and regulation of marijuana in Rhode Island. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Metz.
Permission to make an announcement, Madam President?
Please proceed.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, and ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. On behalf of the Martin Luther King State Holiday Commission, and thank you for putting me on that. I certainly appreciate it. At the Ebenezer Baptist Church, 4 o'clock on Monday. That's the King holiday. We celebrate it every year. The congressional delegation, the several mayors. It's quite a celebration of not only our elected officials, but community people. In celebration of the late Martin Luther King Jr. And the Reverend Justin Lester will also be bringing a message. They have great singing. It's really an enjoyable time, and I thank you and Leader Ruggiero for the honor of representing the Senate at that event. But you're all welcome. 4 o'clock, Ebenezer Baptist Church, and that's the Martin Luther King State Holiday Commission celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ruggiero.
Thank you, Madam President. An announcement and an introduction.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the Senate. Recently, one of our, and this is the best part of my job, recently one of our colleagues celebrated his birthday, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate and commend and give the best wishes to our Chairman of Labor, Paul Fogarty. Happy birthday, Paul. I didn't say a number, Senator Felag, but his birthday was January 8th.
Whip Goodwin at this time, or Senator Ruggiero? Another.
And is an introduction in order, Madam President?
Certainly is. Please proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President, members of the Senate, to you and through you, and to the members of the Senate. I would like to reintroduce an individual who was here for a couple of years, who's not here anymore as one of our employees, but who's employed by the state, and he's provided our protection today. I don't really need the protection as much as you need it, Madam President, but I want to welcome Darren Anderson back to this chamber and thank him for everything.
At this time, the desk is now clear of business. I would recognize Whip Goodwin.
Madam President, Before we move to adjourn, I'd like to remind the members that on Tuesday, session will begin at 6, and we expect the House to escort us around 6:30 to the House chamber to receive the Governor's State of the State address. So just a reminder that we'll be meeting at 6 p.m. and Judiciary will be meeting previous to that at 5, as the Vice Chair has indicated. And Madam President, if there's no further business to come before the Senate this afternoon, before I do that, Madam President, reminder there is no session tomorrow. So just no session tomorrow, Thursday, 6 o'clock, new start time for session on Tuesday. And Madam President, if there's no further business to come before the Senate this afternoon, I'll yield the floor to Senator Sheehan for purposes of adjournment.
Thank you, Madam Whip. Senator Sheehan.
Thank you, Madam President. I would just like to adjourn in memory of our good friend, Kenny Carter.
Senator Sheehan moves that the Senate adjourn in memory of the Honorable Kenneth Carter, seconded by Senator Felag, Leader Ruggiero, Leader Algier, many others. All those in favor, please rise. Senate stands adjourned.